Yes, yo, the Knowledge Drop podcast is back for the first show of 2025. I was getting the stats from last year. We rocked an episode between every single 2 weeks, so made 21 episodes over the year. Got listeners in 75 countries, and guess what is the number one city when it comes to the listeners? New York, the Big Apple, the mecca of hip hop, is tuning into the Knowledge Drop. I salute all of you guys and everybody else who's feeling the show. We keep it going. The first show of 2025. Have an amazing lineup coming up for this year, and we're gonna start straight from the top. Jeromeskee, Massive Monkees crew, the one and only, is joining us today. We have a lot to talk about. We faced each other a couple of times on the dance floor, and after that, both been judging mad battles all over the world, including the Red Bull BC one that he judged in Brazil a month ago. So we're gonna touch base on that one for sure. Welcome in, Jeromeskee of the Massive Monkees.
What up,
Seattle in the house. What's up? How's it
good?
going, mister?
What's good, man? How's everyone doing today? Hey,
Let's go. We are live on all platforms, and you can find us on Spotify as soon as we are done. How is training? 40 plus, man. It's been a little while since I saw you. We're still active, we're still kicking it, but like we spoke on the pre-room before the show, life is kind of different these days. How's your training going?
feeling good, man. I mean, it's super busy. Life is just busy, with kids, business, and work, and just breaking. And we're still doing shows. But yes, I'm physically training. Mental and body is feeling good. So especially at this age now too. It's just what you do, right? It's just like walking. You wake up and you're dancing. The music's always on and just flowing. And also, I teach full time as well too. So in between classes, if you hit a 10-minute talk rock, I mean anything. But we still train. I was training out with the guys just 2 days ago, and we're going for it, man. We're in our 40s.
Good. Hell yeah, let's keep going. Training with the guys. Does the Monkeys still get together to session, or what's
Absolutely.
happening in
Yeah,
Seattle?
it's amazing right now because we are. I mean, literally last Thursday, we were training as a crew, and the next generation trains with us too as well. And it was actually Bryson's son, Teo. He was doing 20 rounds because he just turned 20, and so
What?
and he was rocking it, and members were dancing and bowing him, and I was just watching like, wow, this is dope. And it's just that energy, right? Like that youthful energy, the older I would say seasoned guys like us, right? I'm just being part of it and part of that energy and just flowing with it.
Throw in a few rounds here and there. What is your experience about the current generation? I just spoke to a younger person today. I started to coach for his upcoming battle, and he says his favorite b-boy is Ryan from Japan, who's also 16, representing a crew like Massive Monkees that during my age was always referred to as one of the illest real breaking crews out there, past, present, future. Does the current generation know that? Do they know Flowmos? Do they know Massive Monkees? Do you know what I mean? What is your
Absolutely.
experience on this?
I mean, you gotta look at this too, right? Like our generation. I mean, we've arrived in a sense. Like it's an honor to still be rocking this, no doubt about that. But we lived that golden era where we battled crew battles. We've done all the battles that we wanted to do, right? All the major battles at our time, and still doing battles when we want to, right? And for people, people might not know us, and it's all good. There's no expectations. There's no, hey, we're the OGs. You should know us. Yeah, know your history. Know if you watch video, you will know us and understand what's going on, past, present, and what it could look like in the future. No doubt about that. But at the end of the day, it's like if people don't know us, all good. Let's get to know them, right? Let's get to know the next generation. Let's tap in instead of this whole hierarchy of, hey, you should know me, you should respect me. No, it's like I want to get to know you. I want to respect you. I want to see what's going on with the next generation. How can we learn from them? That's just real talk.
Good. Yeah, and my plan is to stay involved within the scene as well. I'm not going anywhere. So if you don't know me, you come to a jam, you see me. That's it. But you're
Yeah,
right.
See you in
all
the
the
cyber,
battles.
right? Like, just
Exactly.
that energy.
That's what I see you as well. But we did all the battles that we ever wanted to do. Like one of the reasons I stopped active competing because I did all the battles. I battled in every single event I ever dreamed to battle in. So inventing the same wheel twice is kind of like I'm been there, done that. Let me pass on for the next generation so they can do it as well. What's the single battle yet that you didn't do that you wanted to do?
Absolute, man. Honestly, I've, you talking about that, right? Like we've, I would say, graduated in a sense where we did all the battles we wanted to do, and so now everything's bonus, right? So that's the same feeling I have. And I had an actual checklist. I had a piece of paper of cats who I wanted to battle, crews I wanted to battle, and people I wanted to face.
Oh,
Yes, and I did majority of it, actually, probably all of it. I feel good, you know. And we
ha.
went the community battles to the major battles. You know, we all started. You know, come on now, let's keep it real. Before it was became commercial, we started all at the community center battles, right? So community center battles, and before we got flown out, we would rent a van. You know, we're from Seattle. We would rent a van, pack that up, 12 people deep in one van, and travel to California for 20 plus hours driving with all these young teenagers. We were like in late teens, early 20s, entering freestyle session and packing up a hotel room with with 12 plus us deep, right? And just entering the jam and just not expecting anything, right? And that's how we started before we got flown out um, anywhere. And we went
The
naturally.
one person who has the credit card who gets the hotel room and everybody else bum rush
You know it.
sleep on the floor, whatever.
Yeah, no, we were sleeping on the floor. We were sleeping on the floor, and the crazy part is, we're that anxiety and nervous energy before the battle. People wouldn't sleep, so you're sleeping on the floor. People wouldn't sleep at all because they're keeping each other up. And so when it came to battles, it was just a pure adrenaline rush, pure
True.
pure adrenaline, right? So, but those are the moments that shaped us. And before Red Bull got into the scene and big corporations, we literally started at community center battles from the bottom up, and now where it's going, amazing, right? Incredible, right? And with Flomo and how you guys rock and represent as a real crew, set that anchor, that ideology of like, we can rock like a real crew. We can go out there and be us and represent not only the country, right, but your city as well and your community. That's the huge thing with Massive community.
That's what's up. Speaking about a real crew, I know you've been gotten this question a lot, but I don't see too many crews representing these days anymore. It's more and more about the individual, more and more about sponsorship, more and more about the company that's backing you up. Massive Monkeys. How do you define a real crew? What is a real crew to you? I get often asked this question as well, and I'm like, oh shit, it's kind of supposed to be obvious, but in this day and age, it is not. How do you define a real crew?
There's just different levels to that, right? I thought about that as well too. There's real crews who started organic, who really were no namers, right? Like Massive, we came from two crews that were no namers. Basically, we sucked, right? We just had a passion for dance, and we came together because we were passionate, and then we became friends, and then we started competing. And then there's other crews, you call it the super crews or crews where like, hey, you've been dancing for a while. My crew is kind of simmered off. Let's collaborate, and now let's form a crew. And that's one way. And then there's another way where it's like the all stars, right? I mean, and then they become friends and they become a crew. Like I get that, right? But crews who start organic, right? That's the golden crews, I would say, right? That's special, and it's not to judge like what's real, what's more real. It's just however you arrive to that, cool. But the reward is when you start organic and you start to see how people develop their own style and how we developed as a real crew from the very beginning. That's the reward in itself, because the connection and really seeing the group and individuals start from zero and then start to create their signature moves, and you're there and present, creating the boost and the basket catch and the statue when nobody was watching, and now we're doing all over the world, and it becomes signature, and everyone's doing it now around the world, right? That in itself now is the reward, and the connections that will never, that would never become golden unless we went through the grit, the grind, the losses, right? And that connection was going to last forever.
Hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about it
Right?
too. That maybe the real definition is a change when you grow up as a cruiser. Like you change, but the cruise still lasts. Like everybody starts from somewhere, but if you stick together and you see the struggles and you overcome it, then you start to form into something that's a bond forever. And like thinking about your crew as well, like everybody's already dope, but everybody lifts each other up as well. So you got superstars, you got Bryson, you got Juice, Twix, yourself, Little Lazy. Everybody's like nasty already by themselves, but then again, as the crew, if you get all of those people together, that's like magic right there. And if that's
Absolutely.
been going on for a decade or two or even three, then that's wild, man. There's not many like that.
Absolutely. I mean, the interesting fact is like when we all start from, we were nobodies, right? And so when people start making a name for themselves, like especially in 2004, Queen Mary, we were just talking about that pre chat before this. But if you look at that battle again, with Massive Monkees, we all wore solid colors, right? Like person was all white, one person was all black, red, green, um, brown, right? And that was, we were trying to represent Voltron, right? Where each individual have their own unique style and they're fresh, but when we come together like Voltron, we're unstoppable, right? So that's what we did. That's how we rock. That was our inner expression of inner secret of like, yo, you're dope, you're fresh, but when we come together as a crew, we're going to be unstoppable. And that's what the thing behind routines, right? Like people nowadays, and here and there, they're like, okay, routine, they're trying to hide their solo. Nah, man, we doing that because we want to show crew chemistry. It's harder to train, to prep as a crew, to have routines, to have teamwork, to have audibles, to have commandos on the spot. It takes team chemistry to do that, and then kill your solo, and then have your solo moments and represent as a crew. So it's not just rocking your solo moments and make sure that you're prepped mentally and physically ready for your crew, but also being part of the team. And you have to be around and present, and you have to train as a group for hours and days and weeks. So when there's that audible, you have to change up. Within seconds, everyone lines up, right? That's real crew stuff.
Yes, sir. And you mentioned Queen Mary 2004. People who are watching, listening to this, if you don't know, speaking about Restart Session number 8, our first time battling in the States as well, getting on the flight, repping the crew, first time overseas. And the first crew that we meet was Rocksteady in the elimination rounds. Both crews got through, but Massive Monkees was killing it the whole weekend. And that edition, man, went down in the history books as far as one of the illest events I've ever witnessed, I've heard about. And everybody of our generation was there. It was like 80 crews plus worldwide, big ass crews. And Massive made a huge impact on that one.
That was a
So
moment.
everybody go and check out the footage, man. If you don't get the DVD, then watch anything on YouTube what's available or out there. Any
Yeah.
fond memories about that trip?
Let me ask you this. How was that for you? For traveling with your crew for the first time, going to US for the first time, and then battling Rocksteady. Like, what was that
Dude,
vibe like? What was that the days before? How did you get the crew together, right? Because this is not really talked about how getting the crew together mentally, doing your part to help lead or follow and really get them to that right frequency so you guys can be battle ready. How was that process like for you?
wow. Well,
I know it's a lot.
Flomo was 2 years old at the time. Like you guys, we joined up two crews in 2002, so it was 2 years old when we got there. And of course, we wanted to go a lot earlier, but we didn't have the cash.
Mhm.
So 2003, 2004, early on, we worked hard doing shitty jobs just to gather up the pennies together so that we could get everybody out doing shitty gigs, whatever it was. And then finally, once everybody was there, we still didn't have the manpower. So we were lucky in a way that Freeze wanted to jump in and support us from Sweden. We had Jan 1, Elvis, who signed up with us as well. And actually, a funny story that we never told nobody was that Alien Ness was supposed to battle with us as well on that trip. But because we trained together with him in the Asia One's crib, I think a couple of days before, he saw our routines and they sucked. They were really bad. Like we were not the routine crew. We fucked up our routines at the front yard of Asia One's house, and Ness was like, "What kind of shit is that, man? Should be looking like Showtime already. The battle's in 2 days."
That's
So he
funny.
battled with the Essential Rockers, with K-Mel, with Rudy Garpin, with everybody else over there. So that would have been one killer lineup as well, but we was happy just to rep our small country, man. Going against Rocksteady, the people that got us into breaking, that we always looked up to, and meeting icons on the other side of the dance floor, man. I can't put that in words. It's crazy.
Incredible, man. And the thing is this, like you can watch it, no doubt about that, online, but to be there, right? To see these crews in that era and people in the prime killing it, and then another crew, and then another crew, and then you go up to the escalators and there's battles back to back. Like you're talking about history in the making. And then you go to another level and there's another battle going on. And something with beef and all that, and you can see it real time. And then you look down and you're like, all right, there's the battle for freestyle session. Here we go. So it's all these things happening at once, but every like literally every 2-3 seconds you'll see like, okay, that's there it goes. Okay, there goes came out. Okay, there goes, like there goes Havikora. Okay, they're battling somebody right now. Okay, right. So it was a moment, I would say. That was a moment. And those are those are the moments, right? Like as now being older, right? Being seasoned, being in the game for a while. Those are moments that you cherish and you start to reflect, right? So yeah, man. Respect the FOMO. Like I've seen you guys for the longest time, represent as a real crew and going out there and represent with style as a crew, right? That's the big thing. Each individual, like our era, each individual has their own personal uniqueness and style that brings something to the squad, right?
Yeah, we had a crazy ride, man. We got the best of the golden years as well. We didn't live the old school, but as far as our generation, we got the craziest trips, craziest memories. So we're so lucky to live through it. But of course, we're in 2025. We need to recap 2024 as well. Let's take this to Brazil. I got a lot of people hitting me up like, you need to ask him about judging Red Bull BC1. So we need to touch that one for sure. Last person on the show was Icy Ives. So we, of course, spoke about his experience. I only saw the footage and watching it with my kid being all wild at the same time. So I didn't get to dig deeper into it from a judge's perspective, from a perspective of a person maybe who has an input on the whole situation. Whereas you was there in the hot seat, first
Yes.
row, and take us to Brazil, man.
Yeah, man.
How was the
Well,
experience for
listen,
you?
I mean, let's bring it back, right? Like before Rebel BC1, there's Lords of the Floor. And so in 2001, and Lords of the Floor started in my city, Seattle, right? Big shout out to Circle of Fire, Bob, who helped lead that, and then John Jay as well too. He's from Seattle as well too. But Lords of the Floor 2 versus 2 competition. I know you guys seen it also in 2024, but it started in 2001 and 2002. And so to have that breaking scale up in a sense now to Red Bull BC1. I mean, it was 2001, 2002 was already incredible. It was one of the best. It was history in the making, one of the best battles in the world. And then over years, over the time, seeing all the amazing battles and how Red Bull BC1 came and arrived, incredible. Now seeing it right as a judge, it was funny because I was talking to Domes Terry, and he made a shirt for me for Brazil. And there's always the judges lineup, right? You know this, right? They got like the young cat, they got the B girl, the B boy, the youngins, right? And then they got the cats that are like been dancing and still in the scene. And then they got the OGs. And I looked at the lineup, I'm like, oh man, I'm the OG now. And I look at it like, oh, okay, I've arrived. It's an honor. But we were laughing though, because I'm like, oh man, okay, I get it. Um,
When it
and
does
you know how
happen,
that
yeah.
is. Yeah, and it's great, man. I laugh at it, but I look at it like, okay, it's I'm here. I'm that guy now, and I still look like I'm the young cat feeling because we were, and you know this too. Back in the day, I say back in the day, we were the young cats battling, and we were the young ones judging. Now we're the older ones, but that's a celebration
Mhm.
in itself too because we have arrived and been consistent in the game. Now, fast forward 2024, beautiful production. I mean, Brazil in general is incredible, right? So the people there, beautiful people, and they appreciate this dance. So you can just feel the energy and the respect. And when you're dancing out there, they're just supporting you 100%. Incredible. So judging the lineup, you already know it's insane. And even the first rounds, as you know, as a judge, as a seasoned judge, those are always the hardest rounds because everybody's killing it, right? So it's seeing every single detail. So when I was judging, like yourself, we judge the Olympics. We have the license of Trivium and Trifold, right? And also just the experience in general of all the years that we've battled and judged. I'm judging real time, round for round. Every single second, I'm looking at it. Before the battle, I'm resetting my mind. I'm resetting my my vibe, my energy. It's just so I know what's going on, what's happening, so I can be present real time. So I'm looking at every single detail. I'm the judge. I'm sitting down. I'm looking right in every moment before, even before the battle is happening. I'm seeing the energy and I'm seeing how things are reacting, and then real time I'm looking round for round. And it's hard. It's hard. The hot seat is challenging, but I'm looking at all from, you already know, the vocabulary, the originality, the musicality, the execution, even flow state, right? When people are creating in a moment, like I'm looking at the difference, right? And there's certain dancers who like will have certain patterns, but if you look in detail, like Menno, he has an incredible flow, and you gotta look in very deep in detail because people might say, "Oh, that flow looks the same." No, he's changing it up, and he's changing it up real time with the music. And there's a little modification and different texture to the flow, and you got to pay attention to that, right? And so, yeah, incredible. And I mean, there's many battles are super close, and I felt really good about my decisions.
Good, good. Judging on that level, where it's 16 invites, both men and female. Of course, couple of our last chance ciphers, but most of the people are just straight up invites from the top of the world. It gets super interesting because there's like small mistakes is sometimes the decisive part because everybody's already dope. So you kind of look in people like, oh, he's gonna like who's gonna fuck up or who's lacking on some things because everybody's already versatile, everybody's already original and stuff. So I find it super interesting to be on that seat. It's nerve wracking, yes, but then again, it gets you to the flow state. Like you cannot think about anything else in the world. You have to be fully focused 100% and simply just be present, man. It's like meditation right there. There's nothing else in your mind than that moment right there. So I love it actually. It's not fun, but I love it.
And also too, like, I look at this, many times we've been judged, right? Or we were in the finals and then we got second, or we were judged and we're like, oh, we should have won, right? And so when I got the invitation to judge, I started doing work. I mean, I started looking at all the b-boys and b-girls and start watching their videos, right? Just to get used to what's going on and what battles may happen, right? So I started doing work, and I just treat it literally like a professional job. And I was ready, prepped the night before, a couple days before. I was really just visualizing myself judging and being in that flow state and flow state of judging the moments and seeing what's going on, what's happening, and um, how the energy of the room and all that. So um, yeah, man, it's judging is hard, but it's also an honor, and you gotta treat it to the highest respect to the job because you already know b-boys and b-girls, they put in years and hours and all that within those couple of seconds. And so it's just respecting that as well too.
True that. People's careers on the line for a single battle. So if we were to take it to the finals, I checked the votes for that one as well. Split decision. Your vote went to Icy Ives on that one. Would you break down on your thought pattern about? Don't have to go into specific of every single round because it's a month and a half ago. So going into details is impossible. But then again, an overall perspective of your train of thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the judge's decision was I was the only one for Icy Ives. So I think that was it. I was the only one for Icy Ives. Mena was killing it all his rounds, and even in the finals, he was killing it. Um, with Icy Ives, to me, in that moment, the musicality, the being in the moment for me at that time when I was watching Icy Ives, he was there, and he was not only matching movements, but he had the battle mentality, and he was present. And not to say or take anything away from Meno, because Meno was present and he was killing it. And it was a very close battle. And I just edged it to Icy Ives. Um, if you're looking at too, you know, he's hitting different textures to the music. He's also dancing from beginning to end. And Meno was doing that as well too. Um, and the thing though too is yes, you can have the originality, no doubt about that. The musicality, yes, the technique, the movement, the flow, but also the battle, right? Like who's battling at that moment, and everyone at that on that platform, they're all battling. But at that moment, at that time, with those three rounds, Icy Ives. It was Icy Eyes for me. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. And people get caught up in every single final battle every single time. It's always controversy, but then again, being in the game for a couple of decades, you start to realize it's just one battle, guys. One of
It's
those
yes.
battles where there's two of the best b-boys of the night. Give it a couple of months, there's another one of those. Can go either way sometimes, and there'll be plenty more. So let's see Menno and Icy Ives in the final in 10 years from now, and
And
then see.
that's the thing though, right?
So,
It's like if they're the
hmm.
battle again, different outcome, right? Different outcome. You just don't know at that moment, at that time, and people will just watch the finals. Now you gotta watch them all from the very beginning, the top 16, all the way to the finals. See who's repeating, who has a little more flow, who has a little extra something, right? When it comes to the finals, who has that energy, consistency, and who was battling as well too with the execution and musicality, all that into play. So yes, people can watch individually their battles. Okay, great in the finals or semifinals, but no, you have to be there, present. Present is the key. You can't just be like, okay, yeah, I see that. I'm gonna judge that and on online. No, you have to be there, present from beginning all the way to the middle, all the way to the end, and see what they're bringing. But then at the finals, what is it? Are they repeating? Are they bringing something more to the table? What's that look like? What's the vibe? What's the feeling? Who wants it more, right? Because when it's in that world championship level, everyone's incredible. Everyone's great. And so you're looking at the small, minute mistakes, or even if there's almost both solid, perfect rounds. All right, here we go. Who's now you're going back into your whole scenario of okay, who has who's dancing, who's present, who is the vocab, the technique, right? Like all that comes to play real time. And so you just had to be ready in that hot seat in that mindset, and you had to be used to that, right? Because you already know
Hit,
online.
hit the nail in the head. Exactly. Yep. Keyboard commandos can say whatever they say. If they weren't there, then they weren't there, and they're not validated for the opinion. That's what's up.
Yes.
Cool. Last part of the show we have is quick overrated, underrated, quick questions. Bam, bam. A few topics. Let me know if you think they're overrated or underrated and why. Let's go. Judges showcase.
Judges showcase necessary depending on the event, right? So if it's Red Bull, I would say yes, definitely. If community battles, yes. If it was the Olympics, like for me, more celebrate that Olympic journey in that moment with the Olympians. I would say no judge showcase, but I get it. The judge celebration, that's cool. Um, but yeah, it's necessary, and it's just depending on what event.
40 plus battles.
Absolutely. That is incredible. Because think about that, right? when we're in our 20s, there's a lot of cats talking in their late 20s saying, "Oh, back in the day, I stopped when I was 16 and whatever." Hell's no, man. This is the new, and we're setting that and we're trailblazing that. Why not, right? Why not go out there and be in our 40s and not just show and prove to ourselves to feel good, not to be looked at and, hey, celebrate me and look at me. No, just to be, just to feel like, yo, I can stretch my own personal limit. Watch me in my 40s, watch me be physically up on point, watch me, work on my endurance and my training, work out, right? And then my mental, because the reflection of how you dance is your reflection of your mentality, right? Of what you're going through in processes in your life, right? So absolutely. I think it's the game changer, right? When there's 40 and up battles, I think it's beautiful. I think it shows the world, the community, that you could still rock, um, and the next generation that, hey, yes, you may start in your teens and younger, but watch these cats in the 40s killing it. In our era, it's gold, man. That the movement, right? And we all know this flow focus, right? In your crew, Flomo and Massive Monkees, like, it's not just the moves, it's the quality of movement and that style that makes it unique. And our era has that, the uniqueness. Right?
Good. Seattle Breaking 2025.
A lot of next generation kids coming up. Yeah, starting because they see the Olympics. Little kids from 4 and 5, 6. They're all starting, and they are excited, right? They're excited where it can go. And there's a lot now. There's a lot more platforms now that is happening for the next generation. I see that all around the world, and that's amazing. That's beautiful. To make that impact for the next generation, that's everything. Everything.
That's what's up. Yes, sir. Oh, great talk. 2025. What do you have coming up? You mentioned there's two companies that you're working with right now. What
There's
is this year holding for you?
Yes. So my wife and I, we have a studio called Body Language Studio. It's a little off from Seattle, 15 minutes away from Seattle. There's also the Beacon in Seattle, Massive Monkey Studio as well too. There are Massive Monkey coaches in both studios. I do the breaking program. I'm the co-director as well at the Body Language Studio. So we have about 12 classes a week going on, right? From little kids all the way to advanced levels. And then we have a competition team. We do our breaking league there as well too. So a lot going on with Body Language Studio. And also I co-founded, I'm a director for a breaking company called Breaking Boundaries, right? So we only been activated for a few months, but we have an incredible team. We have an official board. We have a core team. We are working on coaches as well. We're working on getting 10 coaches. We have 5, and we're training in 5 other coaches. So it's about quality. It's about all the stuff that I've learned, and it's an ecosystem of breaking, right? All the stuff for multiple years I've worked on for over 10 plus years. The breaking league, we're doing growth mindset shows. We have open session as well too, and we're trying to work this cultural exchange breaking program to build a pipeline for the next generation. So we're going for it, and we have an incredible team, and it keeps me busy. So I have two full-time businesses, and in between, I always make time for my kids. They're my main inspiration, and we're still doing shows, and we're still training. So, and I'm training as well too, as physically working out. That's my meditation as well too. So yeah, man, I'm excited. 2025, it's super busy, right? But it's exciting.
Good, man. Let's make it a good year. We're going to hear a lot more about your companies in the future as well. So keep going, keep inspiring. We're not stopping here, man. Great.
Yes, man. Thank you very much. Yo, shout out and big respect to you, Focus, and your crew, and what you're doing as well too. You're doing it big, man, and I see it, and I respect it, and much love to you, and all the best to all what you do, man.
Massive Monkeys forever. We stay in touch. Thank you
Yes,
for the
sir.
time.
Thank you.
Peace, peace.
Peace, peace.
Boom. There you have house. Go give them a follow, Dance BLS, Breaking Boundaries as well. And after you've done that one, head out to bboydojo.com, get my free footwork workshop. I'll see you over there. Peace, peace. Thank you for tuning in.